So my TBR is starting to get a little bit out of control. I have right around 130 to 135 books on my physical TBR, and my goal for this year is to get that TBR down. I have almost all of my shelves. My mom's cat in the window. I have almost all of my bookshelves at max capacity at this point. It's gonna have to simmer down a little bit before I can justify buying myself more books at this point. So I thought that it would be fun to kind of talk about how I plan to tackle this TBR and maybe give you tips on like how to tackle your TBR. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll just jump on into my plans then. The first thing I plan to do to get my TBR down is to finish series that I'm in the middle of. It's different when the book, like, when the series is not finished yet. So, like, by the time this video comes out, no, it won't be out. The Powerless, the last book in the Powerless series, it is not out yet. I cannot finish that series, so that one is excused. Fourth Wing series isn't finished. That one is excused. But, like, I have read To All the Boys I Loved Before, need to read the other two. I have one novel and one novella left in the Shatter Me series. I need to finish that. I have like 14 books left in the Legend of Drizzt series. It's actually astronomical. The amount of books in my TBR are from series that I'm reading. So I want to tackle these series that I'm reading. There she comes. And kind of use that. Hi, are you coming? Nope, she's not. But I want to tackle some of these series, and that will definitely help me tackle my TBR. It's, looking at my bookshelves, it's actually a bit of a mess. But we're gonna get that figured out. So first of all, finish some series. We'll see where that gets me. After that, I'll be able to break into, well, come on. She's thinking about it. Come on. You can see my mom's super fluffy kitty. I don't think I've shown her before, but she hangs out with me a lot. Yeah, tackling the series that I'm in the middle of will definitely help to get my TBR down. But then after that, I have a bunch of standalones that I need to get to. So I have some other plans for once I finish those series that we will also talk about. So after I've finished the series that I am in the middle of, I plan to start working on the novellas that I have. I got really into novellas for a while and bought a bunch of novellas because I planned to have some quick reads, and then I just didn't get around to them. So I have some novellas that I need to read, and that will help at least a little bit. Most of my bookshelf consists of actual novels or like a book of short stories. I have some Stephen King books that are books of short stories. So getting through novellas and short stories and that kind of thing will get my TBR down for sure. The only thing that will kind of limit me, I guess, in a sense, is my book club. I'm in a book club with my mom and my aunt where we all read the same book and then we have a discussion about the book at the end of the month. So I do have to make time every month to read my book club book. And sometimes they're kind of big. I've been reading a lot slower lately, but I also just started a new job. I am back at my old job. Yay. just in a different place in the building. So I have holiday breaks again, I have summer break again, I have all of that. So I can use those to kind of get through some of them, hopefully. But we're gonna try our hardest to get pretty much all the novellas that I have on my bookshelf knocked out. I think I only have one novella. No. Maybe. No, two. I have two novellas, and then I have like maybe 4 books of short stories. So we're gonna get through those. We're gonna try our best. But other than that, there are some other things that I can do to kind of get my TBR down a little bit, and we'll talk about those next. So this next thing I've been thinking about doing is also the hardest thing for me to do, unhauling books that I don't think I will read or that I haven't been interested in a while. I know it's good to unhaul books that you don't want anymore, but I do have a bunch of books that I bought them for a reason. I was really excited about them at the time, and I still want to be excited about them, but I haven't been lately. I would like to at least try to read them. Like, I have a book, it has to be like over 600 pages. The thickness of the book, the length of the book is what has been scaring me, I think. So finding time to really get those books that intimidate me in somewhere, giving them a fair chance. If I decide I don't want to read them partway through, I DNF it, I can unhaul it. If I go through and I have some books on my shelf that I'm not excited about anymore, or I know I am not really going to read anytime soon, I can always unhaul them and then just like check them out from the library when I am in the mood for them. I do have multiple library cards around the libraries in my area, so I do have ample opportunity to get books from the library. So that, I think, would be the saving grace in unhauling books that I haven't really been interested in. I can have that opportunity to check them out of the library and try them again, or try reading them to see if I do like them. Some of my books, it's as simple as I look at the cover and it doesn't speak to me, which is an absolutely ridiculous thing to say, but it's true. Sometimes I get excited about the concept of a book or the blurb that tells you kind of about what the story is, and then I get the book and I see the cover and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really want that. I'm very much influenced by the cover of the book, so I try to only get my favorite covers of books. That way I'm more encouraged to read it. Lately, though, book covers have been pretty good in terms of the art on them. I wish I wasn't so influenced by that, but I definitely am. So I might have to go through, see what books I'm not really going to read or I'm not very interested in, and get rid of them. Even though it hurts me in my heart, it has to happen sometimes. Like my Allie Hazelwood books. I got some Allie Hazelwood books because I wanted to start reading Allie Hazelwood. Read one of them and it wasn't my favorite, so now I just don't know if I really want to read the other ones. I still want to try to give them a fair chance, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I have some books that I like soft DNF'd. American Psycho is an example of that, where I wanted to read it really badly, but once I started reading it, I was like, oh, I'm not really in the mood for this. I don't know if I really want to read this. So I like soft DNF'd it, and I was like, I will come back to it like when the time is right. So I might have to go through my bookshelves, especially since me and my boyfriend have been looking at apartments and looking into moving. So I may have to downsize if that happens. I hate the thought of downsizing. I may even just have to put some of my books in our storage unit until I am able to fit them in or get to them. Who knows? But I will figure it out. Maybe unhauling books soon. If I do unhaul some books, I will definitely show that on one of my social medias. So that's the one that I really don't want to think about. Next, we'll talk about some easier ones. So as I was talking about a little bit earlier, I do get holiday breaks and a summer break now. I think we only have 7 weeks of school left until summer break, and we have Easter break during those 7 weeks. So I will have ample opportunity to have an extended amount of reading time. I do want to try to use that time to really get back into reading more. Last year, I was like speeding through books if I had a week off of work where I was literally just lounging around. I could read 4 or 5 books in that week. Have not been able to do that or anywhere close to that lately. I don't know if it's like the gloomy weather we've been having around me lately, or like the stress of moving jobs a couple times. Whatever it is, I'm sick of it. I miss being able to read a lot at once. My migraines definitely did not help that. They made it very difficult for me to sit and like stare at text. As weird as that sounds, even like a physical book, it was difficult for me to look at it for long periods of time and not get a migraine. I don't really follow audiobooks easily when I listen to them, so that was an option that I tried and just wasn't really a fan of. So now that I kind of have my migraines figured out more, they're slowing down, I'm not really getting them as often or as easily, I want to see if I can start reading more at a time again. There was a time last year when I could read a 300-page book in a day. I'm not sure if I could get back to that right away, but I would really like to work myself back up to that. So I'm definitely going to use the Easter break next week and my summer break to really start rolling through the books. Hopefully we can make it happen. We'll see. I've literally only read 10 books so far this year, and we are in the first week of April. That is insane to me. At this point last year, I would have read 2 to 3 times that amount by this point in the year. But I also made it one of my goals to not pressure myself to read more books just to hit a reading goal. I wanted to just kind of read as I felt like it, have more time for other things, not stress myself out about hitting a certain reading goal or reading a lot. So we'll see what I can make happen. I think that we could try to at least cut this TBR in half using this time off that I will have. So that we will have some updates about every once in a while. But there's one more piece of my plan that I also kind of want to talk about. So we will end on that, and that'll be it for today. So we'll jump right on into that. This last one is going to be an extremely obvious one, but one that is also difficult for me. Not rereading books that I already know I love and that I've already read. I tend to reread books that I really like fairly often. I can read the same book like 3 to 5 times in a year if I am just really stuck on it. But I want to try not to reread a whole lot just so that I can slim down this TBR. I feel like towards the end of the summer or when I'm starting to fall into a slump and I just really need that book that I already know I love to get me back into it, that would be kind of exceptions. But I just really want to knock out this TBR so that I can have an excuse to go get more books. I don't specifically need more books, but I do really enjoy like collecting and having books. I've always grown up in a house where we had a lot of books. My mom probably has like 500 books alone by herself. We easily have over 1,000 books in my house. I have 2 parents that are readers. I have always been a reader. I did have a gap of time where I wasn't really reading so much, but now that I'm back into it, I am very much back into it. So it's kind of hard for me to not have books, if it makes sense. Like, I feel like I have been much happier having these books and being able to just pick one up and read it when I am really needing that. I know it's very like cliche sounding and kind of something that a lot of people say, but like books really have been my biggest coping technique and like therapy kind of for myself. I very much think of sitting down and enjoying reading my books as like a self-care type of thing. My favorite activity on Sundays is like putting on a face mask, sitting down and reading my book. I'll put some like calm ambiance on my TV in the background or some like classical music on. It has greatly helped my mental health to do that. And I cannot see myself not having the room full, like every single wall has a book, at least one book on it. And I really cannot imagine not having that. Maybe that's just me. Not really sure. But anybody else who is what a lot of us call a book dragon will understand that. Sometimes all you need is to have those options at your disposal to see all of these different worlds that you could be a part of. It's just very comforting to me. And my rereads are also extremely comforting to me. So trying not to reread will be tough, but I also feel that it will be worth it. Especially if like my reread is a little tiny novella or a short story, like that I'm fine with. If I can finish it in like a day or less, that's fine. But these like A Little Life is a very thick book. I absolutely love and adore that book. I want to reread it, but I know that it would take so much time that I could use to read some of these books that I have not given a chance yet. So we're going to work on that. Hopefully we can succeed in that. Hopefully you guys can keep me accountable for that. We're gonna sit and let all of that sink in because saying it out loud makes it a lot more real and that kind of stresses me out. But we're going to end it for today. That's kind of my plans to knock out this TBR, as much of this TBR this year as I can. I will see you on Monday. Happy reading. Goodbye.